Available. Here we are. Click on that. Yeah. Click on. Yeah.
We're live.
Yes.
Finally, we're live.
Yeah. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Desi Spurs Podcast once again. Today on the show, we're going to review the victory yesterday against Bournemouth, and also we're going to do some player reviews and some analysis on certain signings that we might do, players that we might sell or want to sell rather, and also we are going to preview the Fulham game, the first Carabao Cup match of ours, which is going to happen on Tuesday. So yeah, and today on the show to discuss once again with us is Prashant from Lily Whites India. Hello Prashant, that beaming smile on your
Hello.
face
Yeah.
does show
Long
how
time
happy
no
you
see.
are.
Yeah.
In the kind of weekend that all the Spurs fans are having, the last one as well as this one. I mean, we were not that used to such weekends last year or
Yeah.
last season.
Winning so many matches in a row.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's a happy space, and thanks to Ange Postecoglou, and a very happy birthday to him as well from the whole Spurs fraternity from Mumbai, from India, especially. So yeah, I mean, how are you doing, mate? I mean, how's it going? How was the game
It's been a
yesterday from
dream.
your perspective? Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a dream, man. A lot of things have changed in the last game, and many things were quite the same. We can start by talking about a very unfortunate thing that was just the same, and it was that we started on a wrong note. We weren't looking very good in the first 10-15 minutes. We just don't hit the ground running whenever we start the match, and it's going to cost us a lot when we play against more advanced teams, because if we concede 1 or 2 goals in the first 10-15 minutes, man, that's going to be an uncharted territory for our young team, because we haven't experienced anything like that, and we might turn this whole thing might turn into a big mess. But let's hope it doesn't happen. So that's the thing that remained the same, and quite a lot of things, fortunate things, changed also. Like our wing backs were way better than they were in the last match. Pedro Porro played really well. He was really enjoying his game. He was celebrating his small victories and small challenges, and it was really nice to have two completely different type of wing backs. Also, our midfield, I just want to say that our midfield was looking like Beyblade battles, because we had these two Beyblades. They were turning around. They were turning so fast. They were turning faster than my ex turned on me. But and their passes were cutting through opposition's defense like fruit ninja or some shit like that, man. So many positives to take from that game. Also, I want to say Vicario shut the mouth of haters who were saying that his distribution game isn't good at all. So I think he was as good as Onana. I don't really like Onana. He tries to be a midfielder. I'm just kidding, man. But as you know, as the saying goes, as long as the dog is peeing on the post belong to the dog, and Vicario is our dog, man. He owns those posts and he does his job quite well. What about you? What do you think? How was your last game?
I think obviously, I mean, there seems to be a pattern, to these games. I mean, from every game, what we see, I mean, from the Brentford game to then the United game to now the Bournemouth game, there has been improvement, in all, throughout the field. But the main,
Yeah,
the main positions, like where we were struggling, in the last season and a couple of seasons before there as well, is the obviously the midfield and the defense. But what I think that is where we are, flourishing at the moment. I mean, we are dominating the game in the midfield. The Manu game as well as yesterday's game. Even though, as you mentioned, we started well, but then again, in the middle we were very slow. Even in the beginning of the second half, I thought we sort of lost our way a little bit. But the
yeah,
way we came back into the game after that, where a few substitutions were made, and then we sort of controlled the game and got another goal. It sort of shows there is some kind of maturity as well, with certain experienced players coming in and taking the charge from the youngsters who are there on the field, who have worked hard in the first half and stuff. So overall, I think it was pretty smooth sailing, apart from a few hiccups here and there, which will happen. And like you rightly mentioned, if we don't focus throughout the game, we will be definitely punished against bigger oppositions, and that is definitely going to happen. But yeah, it's a young side and they learn throughout. The good part is that they all seem to be working really hard towards, towards the goal that has been set up, for individuals, in the team, and they're all doing their job pretty well. Especially, if you see, there was a lot of criticism about signing of, Van de Ven when he actually came in, but yesterday he was phenomenal. For me, he was a
Yeah,
player of the match yesterday. He was all, he was throughout the field, covering up, running back, making those tackles, winning those headers. So everything, was really going well, and I feel that, he, along with Romero, I think they are forming a very good partnership. I know it's very early days, but they complement each other really well. I mean, Romero is a bit, aggressive every now and then, but at the same time, if you saw the game yesterday, Van de Ven was really calm, whenever the ball was played to him by Vicario or any
he
of the
was.
defensive players, and he dropped the shoulder a couple of times, and he also passed pretty well. So I think overall, I think is a brilliant signing for us. He's young. He'll make mistakes, just like Vicario would as well on
Yeah.
certain days. But we have to back these guys and make sure that they are there for the long run and give them enough confidence. The only thing, sort of, I feel is a bit of a problem, which I would want to ask you is, if at all, there's an injury to Romero or Van de Ven, and we don't sign, looking at the situation, there's only one
Yeah.
week left, not even a week left now for the transfer window to close. Do you really think, if we don't get any more defenders, if we don't do any more signings, are, Sanchez and Eric Dyer the answer to really replace, either one of them, in certain games, or in crucial games, if these guys get injured, then how do we go about it? Do you think we are covered there, or we'll be in trouble, if one of these guys gets injured?
Man, we are just like 2 minutes from midnight right now because one injury can take our team out. The drop in quality is massive. And even if we start with Sanchez, who are we going to replace? Because this is a high pressing system. Who are we going to substitute? We cannot just depend on these two paralyzed dogs to defend our house, man. So I completely agree with you. We need at least one signing, but to be honest, I don't think we're going to make it. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, because they have been really good, and we haven't conceded for the last two games. We've had clean sheets
Even
against.
Vicario, what if something
Yeah.
happens to Vicario? What are we gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's true as well. But yeah, I mean, all three of them, they have really contributed, really well in terms of, keeping these clean sheets in the last two games, two sides that we had conceded last time, and lost. We had lost to Bournemouth against, at home, last season, and we drew against United, and we lost at Old Trafford. So I think this time we managed to keep clean sheets because of, there is a change in face at the back. But yeah, as you said, I mean, we need to get those signings in.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, so yeah, but we have been able to stop those goals at the back. But what about the front line? I mean, the big topic or the big discussion point, I'm sure would be the way that
yeah,
Richarlison has been playing. I'm sure he tried his level best yesterday. Sometimes he tried too hard, is what I feel. He was
yeah.
making those runs and trying to be there in the right positions, like last time we discussed, he was always the man in the wrong position at the wrong time. But yesterday he was trying to get there, but still again, maybe short on confidence. What do you think?
Richarlison, man, Richarlison. I've been making so many reels. You have to do something. I make positive reels about you. I make motivational. I make sad reels. If you keep doing this, man, I cannot support you anymore because I believe in you and I want the fan base to believe in you. But the thing you are doing, especially towards the second half, the Richarlison thing, when he was knocked down on the ground and he didn't even get up to get the ball back. That was like the only thing that was working in your favor was your attitude, and you are losing that too. That's not gonna help make your case. And you are facing challenges not from Son. You are facing challenges from players like Perisic, who are asking questions with their performances, like why are we sitting on the bench with these performances? So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to Richarlison. His performance towards the second half, his off the ball game was not good. He was not in the positions. He was hiding behind the center backs. His on the ball game felt like he was a trampoline. Ball was bouncing off of him and going somewhere else. I mean, it wasn't good. He started off really good. His flick pass to the Dejan Kulusevski and all that. He started really well, and I thought that it's gonna convert into goals, but things went really south towards the second half, man.
Yeah, and but looking at the form of Son and Kulusevski as well, I know he scored yesterday, and we are really happy that he did, because it's been a while that Kulusevski had scored, and he also looked someone who was really down on confidence. But I think yesterday's goal would do justice, or some good to his confidence for sure, and we would
Yeah,
see some signs of him coming back into form. Similar with Son as well. I don't think he's been at his best at all, and some of the chances that he could have scored a couple of years back, he's sort of missing them as well. So what do you think, according to you, which would be a more important signing? One at the if at all, you have given a choice to probably get one player in, would it be in the defense, or you think you should go for a striker or a winger?
man. Before I answer this question, I want to say, what are we gonna do with all that money? What are we gonna do with all the price hikes that we have done in the tickets and all the money that we got from Kane? If we're gonna sign one player, but if I have the choice, I would say I would sign a defender, because Manor Solomon can play on the right, and I think we have enough wingers to do justice to that role. And even if Sony plays at the center, I think we can still manage somehow towards our winger section, but defending really needs one more reinforcement right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think makes a lot of sense as well. And you mentioned Perisic as well. I think he's been doing a great job, coming off the
He's been,
bench.
yeah,
Yeah, and yesterday we saw some bit of Licelso as well, coming in, Skip, and Davis has done his job as well, in the previous game against United. So what do you
yeah.
think about the bench as well? I mean, are we good to stick with the players that are there currently and go with a similar pattern, or you think that most of them should be loaned out, or should be sold and stuff, and new faces should come in?
Man, there are some positions. Some positions have enough depth, but some positions are just like waiting to explore. They are just not enough depth when it comes to those positions. Like we have already talked about center backs. Then there is goalkeeper, because obviously Loris is not gonna play, and Fraser Foster is still on the, what do we call it? He's not healthy, let's say. And so I think we really need I think we really need a few reinforcements in these positions, because our bench is okay. It can do the job if our first team stays fit. That's when it can do the job.
But do you think there will be signings? I mean, looking at a track record, looking at how Daniel Levy has, been with other managers in other windows, I know, I mean, there have been certain signings this year that have done really well for us. The likes of
Yeah,
Madison, the likes of Van de Ven, Vicario, whoever we signed, we didn't sign them for big money. But still, I mean, whatever that the players that we have got in have been more fruitful for us than, whatever signings that we did during the times of Mourinho or Conte, for that matter. So I think, uh, what do you feel? I mean, what is your gut feel? Will we do any more? I mean, will we make any more signings, and how many would those be, and which positions? Because I want to keep coming back to that question, because it's going to be
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
interesting in the next 6 days. It's all going to end, and if we don't make any more signings, then this is the team that we're going to go ahead with for the next till about the January window. So that is why I keep coming back to that.
For a rebuilding perspective, this transfer window has been good. But to be honest, this shrewd style of a business, we just don't have enough time for it right now, because the window is about to close, and this whole thing takes time. So I think we should get whatever we can. There are other options as well. Like I think there's 50% buying clause that we have with Sporting. We can buy a winger from them. Even if he costs 50, he will cost us something about 20-25. So we can do these things, but we have to get reinforcements. And considering the track record of Daniel Levy, I think he should be able to get at least one reinforcement before the window closes. I really hope that it's not Brennan Johnson, but whatever, man. I'll do
Yeah,
with it.
surely.
Just
Surely,
bring
yeah,
someone.
because definitely now, the cup games are going to start as well, and the players are going to play more. I mean, they're going to even though we are not going to be too involved or not involved at all in Europe for that matter.
Yeah,
But still, even the cup games are going to keep us busy. So if we, if our key players pick injuries there, then what's going to happen? And one of those games definitely is the one that we all are looking forward to, which is the game against Fulham. And as we discussed, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Fulham game and analyze certain things, certain aspects that you would want to highlight out here. So yeah, I mean, what do you think? Because it's a massive game for us. Carabao Cup this
yeah, it
season
is.
is something
Yeah,
that we are going to go all out for, is what I feel, because we don't have any restrictions in terms of the European games and stuff. So I'm sure the side would be a lot more fresher than what it was when we were doing all the European games as well.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what is your take on the entire Carabao Cup game against Fulham?
Before we move on to Fulham, I just want to say that it may sound weird to other oppositions and our rivals, but if we make two good signings right now, we will be in serious contention for championship. You believe it or not, we will be. That's
No,
one
no. I
thing,
mean,
but let's go.
I'm always hopeful. At the beginning of every season, I feel that
Yeah,
there will be some or the other miracle that will happen for
we
us.
should be.
It
We
is
should be.
that
Yeah,
kind of a situation always, and we've always done well. When we have had young players, a young squad. Tottenham, I don't think, since I've been watching, we've never bought stars as such. We've always
yeah,
made stars, for that matter. You see the likes of Bale, Modric, Kane now. So it's always been, since I've been supporting Spurs, I've always seen that we sort of go in for these young, enthusiastic, talented players, but we are always those one or two players short. And if and as you rightly mentioned, if you can get a couple of good signings in before the window closes, you never know. We saw what happened with Arsenal yesterday. Although we don't want to
yeah.
talk much
Exactly.
about it, but
Yeah,
there's a fair enough chance. And if we can do well, just like how some of the other teams are doing well as well. Look at West Ham. They were brilliant yesterday, and to beat that Brighton side at home was a phenomenal feat. So I think even we can achieve something of that sort, because looking at the kind of style that we are adopting at the moment, anything is possible. But for that we need good recruitment to take place as well. So yeah, I think yeah, you were talking about the Fulham part, and we
yeah.
I cut you,
we are
but yeah, you
starting
can
this
continue with that.
we
Yeah.
are starting this club on a really strong foot, I must say, because this team is not like we are fighting against Middlesbrough or let's say Wrexham. This is Fulham, and Fulham really did well in last season. But that's exactly what I want to talk about, because I'm really confident that we're gonna win this game easily and convincingly. Because let me tell you about a few stats that I read 5 months ago, and shout out to Tifo. It's their stats. It's available on their site. So they actually outperformed themselves. And before I read this expected goal graph that you can see on the screen, I just want to tell you a few stats that Fulham were expected to concede 44 goals, but they conceded 37 goals. Fulham were expected to score 33 goals, but they scored 38 goals. So they were massively outperforming themselves. And it is not happening in this season. One thing is that's why I'm so confident. Second thing, as you can see on the screen, most of the goals that Leno concedes are from the wings. And we have pretty decent wings when it comes to goal scoring. I know where Dejan Kulusevski is not in the form right now, but one thing we can be assured of is that they can cut in and they can score goals on the far post or the near post. So this is another thing that will go in our favor. Also, if you can pull up their that field stat that I just sent you. Yeah. So as you can see, their defense is not that strong, but whenever they try to push really high pressing system, there is a lot of space that is available for our players to utilize. And we have pretty decent wing backs and front line. So I think all these factors combined, we should be easily and convincingly winning this match. And my predicted scoreline would be something like 2-0 or 3-1. I would go with 3-1.
Yeah, I think that also their manager isn't going to be around, is what I feel, because I think he's picked up
Yeah,
three yellow cards, I guess. So that's
yeah,
another blow to them. I mean, it could ignite them as well in a way, but yeah, I mean, we don't really care about that. It doesn't really
yeah,
matter. Yeah, I think we should go ahead and win this game. I think we are in good form, even though Fulham had a good game yesterday against Arsenal, but still I
You
think they
can say
had a
that
good chance of
Arsenal had
winning.
a bad game. Oh, like
Yeah,
Arsenal
I
had a bad
mean,
game.
but even the game before this, I don't think they were that great. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's not really working out for them as of as of now.
they have
The
luck on their side,
signings that
man.
they
They
have
always
made
have
have
on their
not
side.
really doing well. But yeah, I mean that's a different discussion altogether. But when it comes to the cup game, I think it's going to be a bit more closer, probably a 2-1 or something in our favor
One,
is what I
okay.
feel,
Yeah.
because I think usually cup games are pretty close, and we are playing away, so I think it could be a bit tougher than what you actually made out to be. But yeah, I think
I'm a hopeless romantic, man. I'm a
but
hopeless romantic when it comes to
hopefully,
Spurs.
yeah, hopefully it is that easy for us as well.
Yeah. As
Uh,
Angie usually says that we don't care who comes at us, we are gonna give them our best. So I think it's not
yeah,
gonna matter much.
yeah, I
Let's
think
hope for the best.
and before I think we sum this up, a word on Ange and the way that he's been going. I think he's been brilliant. I think on and
Yeah.
off field, his interviews. I think yesterday as well. I think he gave it really well back to I think Gary Neville, who mentioned that or rather managers today are copying Pep.
Yeah.
So I think that comment also fit in really well. So I think overall, what have you made of Ange Postecoglou till now on his birthday? I
Man,
think
he's been good. He's been good,
he
especially
did
off the
that.
ball, man. He can resolve our daddy issues that we have had with our previous managers. So what else
Yeah.
do we want? We want to win the game at the end of the day, and I want Ange to carry us to bed and kiss us a good night. That's all we want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, at the beginning of the season, or at the end of last season, if someone would have
Yeah.
told me that we would be in this position after 3 games, I don't know whether I would have believed that person. But yeah, being optimistic, I think I would have, and I think we can definitely go ahead and do well in the games to come as well. So yeah, thank you so much, Prashant. I think it was wonderful once again. I think
It
we
was
touched
great.
upon a lot of things, and I think the next time when we meet we would have progressed in the Carabao Cup as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you everyone for joining in, and we'll keep you updated on our next podcast. Till then, you can like the video if you have liked it. Comment regarding your perspective, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, Lily Whites India. And yeah, have a very good evening, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.